Great.
And so I put the treadmill at the maximum incline that I can. And so she knows when I don't have food in my hand, she knows right away that she doesn't have to give me 100%. So what I'm going to do is get that food in my hand right away. She's a very driven dog for food. And so you'll see when I'm holding the bowl, she's active. When I'm not holding the bowl, she's not active. That's just the way it has to be. Come on up. So again, she does play some games, especially if she's not getting food. You know, it really depends. I never trained her as a sports dog or anything like that. She's a total pet dog, and but she loves food. So what you want to do is just lure her with food. And hopefully if you have a dog that's struggling with rear leg injuries, hopefully it likes food. Because without a food drive, I don't know if any of this stuff's possible. So, come on, up. Now, you don't want the food to fall on the treadmill, because what ends up happening is they'll end up looking for that food on the treadmill, and what they'll do is they'll slide off the treadmill, kind of looking for that food. So you want to make sure that you're tucking that food into your hand as tight as possible so that it's not falling on the treadmill. Now, it's impossible to be 100% with this, but you could kind of curve your hand and make sure that whatever she grabs goes down into her mouth and not on the ground. Good job. And so I'll usually keep food tucked into my hand, but I won't give her the whole snack. I'll make her work for it. So right now she's pushing into my hand, trying to get the food, but I'm not giving her a lot. She's only getting little tiny bites of it. And come on. So sometimes you got to encourage them as well. Especially if you're not giving them a lot of food, they'll get quite discouraged. Come on, boo. All right, good job, come on. And you'll see as soon as I get more food in my hand, she pulls further closer. Good job, turkey. So this is a real good stretch for her rear legs and her back. Good job. So sometimes I like to take my time in breaking the food up and bringing it. That way it just buys me a little bit of time, and I don't have to keep feeding every second that she's walking. Now, if you have a dog that you've been treadmilling since it's a puppy, you probably don't need to lure consistently like I'm doing. You could just let them walk and then feed. Come on. Good job. And then feed, but because I never trained her as a puppy to walk on the treadmill, this is kind of what you have to do when you're working with an adult dog that isn't fully trained. Especially, come on. Yeah, super girl. Yeah, that's my girl. So it's already been 3 minutes. And so we're going to give it another minute and a half, and then we're going to switch up from incline. Come on. All right, good job. So we're going to switch up from incline, and I'm going to put I'm going to put this treadmill on flat, and then put a platform on so that we can do some specific leg exercise, rear leg exercises. Come on, man. Come on. Let's go. Oh, you silly goose. Am I talking too much? Yo, the good girl. Yeah. Super girl. All right. Come on. That's my girl. Yeah. And so you can play with the angle that you feed to. Come on. You know? The most important thing is you want to keep them active. As they're getting older, they need to stay active. I mean, if they're always sleeping, their muscles aren't being used, and that's That's the enemy of old age, is inactivity. Come on, man. I'm talking too much, so she's jumping on and off, but that's okay. It's safe. Come on. Yeah. That's right. Oh, so good. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Boop. Good job, turkey. And so what I'm going to do is just pause it, and then drop it. Up, 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 up. No, no, no. Up. All right. Platform on. Oh, I really like the platform working with her, and she likes it too. I think it's less work because she does have a lot of arthritis in her front shoulder. And so I put the treadmill up to 1.8. That's good for her. I don't know what your dog's going to be at, what level, what condition. Come up. Oh, careful now. All right. Very good. Let's make sure to encourage them. Very good. Yeah. They got to know they're doing a good job, you know? Dog trainer once told me, be more interesting than dirt, you know? Because when you're on the field dog training, sometimes the dog will just start sniffing the ground. And that's probably because you're boring, right? So they'll sniff the ground and they'll find the dirt more interesting than you. And you know, that's probably not a good sign. So be more interesting than dirt if you get anything out of this video. Good job. Super girl. Yeah, you're a monkey dog, aren't you? Yeah, you are. So sometimes I tease by picking up the food. She knows it's coming, but I don't want to consistently lure. And like I said, because she hasn't been trained as a puppy, which is my fault, you just kind of got to work with what you got, you know? Very good. Now, I don't want her pushing forward and slipping off the platform, but I do want her to stretch her back. So I do play with the angles that I'm holding my hand at so that she can get a nice stretch in her back. But I don't want her pushing past the platform. That can be bad because if she slips off and she falls, she can injure herself, and you know, you're dealing with a senior dog. So don't pull your lure out too far, asking for too big of a stretch. Usually once she starts driving into my hand for the food, what I do is I end up pushing her nose back a little bit, and then we kind of have a arm wrestle while we're doing this. So there's definitely tension on my hand right now, and I'm pushing her back a little bit while she's driving into my hand, and I can feel this is a good exercise for her right now. This is very good. She's into it. She's motivated. She's happy, and she's getting exercise, and that's all we need, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing worse than getting up in the morning and the first thing that you do is you let them out to go pee, you bring them back in, you feed them, and you leave for work. I mean, that means that they just spent the last 8 hours inactive and then got no activity at all, and then went back to inactive. I mean, especially with an older dog, that's going to take a toll on their bodies. And so you definitely, if you're working and you leave them at home, this is the solution for you, especially if it's cold outside. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, usually after we do this exercise, I'll take her out for 5 to 10, 15 minutes before I sit down at my computer and start working. There's no reason your dog should be sleeping for 8 hours and then getting no activity and sleeping for another 8 hours while you go to work. I mean, then you're talking about 16 hours of inactivity. So I would highly recommend, if you have a dog and you're leaving them during the day, that you do some kind of exercise like this before you go to work. because they got to get that blood in those muscles. They got to get those joints lubricated. Like an old dog needs to move around multiple times a day, and maybe even come back from work for lunch and take them out for 15 minutes and just get them moving again. I mean, people get dogs, but they don't realize the amount of work that this stuff is. Like, this stuff is, working with them is a full-time job. Like, my dogs are always with me. I'm always thinking about my dogs. I'm always thinking about things that we can try. I'm always thinking about different foods, activities that we can do together. So this isn't like you get a dog and it becomes part of your household furniture. And I would encourage everyone watching this video, you know, to kind of spread that, because I know people that would wake up in the morning, feed their dogs, and then put their dogs into a crate for another 8 hours, you know, and actually that specific person that I'm talking about, well, their dog just ended up dying recently, but it makes me sad. It makes me sad that this dog, you know, like they don't belong in the crate for 8 hours. I mean, I have nothing against crating a dog. I think it's their safe space, and a crate can do wonders for a dog. I actually really love crates, and if we're driving, Bandit's in the crate because when she looks outside, she gets a lot of anxiety. It's too much. It's like an overload of stimulation. So when I put her into a crate while we're driving, that kind of gives her safe space, and that cured her driving anxiety. And so I have nothing against crates, but I do have something about irresponsibly using a crate, 100%. And so we're already at about 12 minutes, and she's still giving me a lot, which is really nice to see, you know, because some days she's tired. You can tell she's on and off the platform. She's hardly driving into my hand. And so I'm happy. Like, she's having a great day today. I can already tell. Very good job, Turkey. What a good girl. You know, and so what I'm feeding her right now is just like a beef raw food mix. It's got a little bit of vegetables and stuff like that, but essentially she didn't do well on kibble. She has some skin stuff, and so I don't use kibble for her. My German Shepherd right now gets kibbled, but that's just because I don't feel like paying $400 a month to feed 2 dogs raw. I do think raw is better, but there are some steps that you got to take to make sure that everybody's safe. And maybe I'll make another video about raw. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see a video about raw food. But this is it, pretty much. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I like making videos. I got a bit of time right now, and I love making videos with my dogs. And I learned a lot having Bandit over the last 11 years, and especially the last few years. She's started to become a little bit disabled and stuff, and I've learned a lot. And so I hope that I can pass on some knowledge. I mean, I'm not a vet. I'm not a dog specialist in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a dog owner, and I love my dogs. And so here, we're already at 14 minutes. I'm going to pause it. There's a little bit of food left in the bowl. She loves licking the bowl, and so she gets the bowl to lick, and I'm going to end the video, and you guys have a great day.